Now it's Thomas Frank who's set to take the reins at Tottenham Hotspur following a formal approach by Spurs after Ange Postecoglou's departure. Brentford have requested around £10 million in compensation, and after agreeing personal terms, Frank is expected to bring key staff with him. Frank impressed at Brentford by securing promotion in 2021 and maintaining Premier League stability on a tight budget. His tactical flexibility and player development record appealed to Tottenham's technical director, Johan Lange. We spoke to James Trembath of LondonWorld, who covers Spurs closely, to discuss what Frank's move means for the club, his likely impact, style and how he could redefine Tottenham's identity ahead of the new campaign.
His job.
James, Ange Postecoglou out, Thomas Frank in, obviously Brentford manager who's done so well on such a shoestring budget. There's been, calls that they could face relegation a number of times, especially after losing the likes of Ivan Toney. He's reinvented strike forces with the likes of Mbeumo and Vissa. He's become a manager that has really got the best out of unknown players. On the surface, I think he really fits Spurs' bill and where they're going to go from now on. Looks like the only way is up for Spurs. He's made the move across London. What are your thoughts on Thomas Frank when he was sort of linked? We've spoke before. Maybe he wasn't that appealing, but the credit he's done with the likes of Brentford has been fantastic to get them up and keep them a sustainable outfit in the top flight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm thrilled with the appointment. I think actually I'm probably the most excited I've been since Mauricio Pochettino was appointed as Spurs manager a good while ago now. I think he totally fits the bill. Sort of head over heart, I think it was the right decision to let Ange go. We've obviously got the trophy as we've spoken about, but the caveat around the league form, the performances, not just this season, but at the back end of last season as well. We were conceding nearly 2 goals a game. The football had sort of gone out the window. We'd lost the style. We weren't adaptable like we were in Europe. Ironically, I think if we'd have just adapted a little bit more to the players that we had and to the opposition, we could, well have done a little bit better, and Ange might well still be in a job. So, I do think, the time was right to make the change. If we'd have gone into the start of the season with Ange, we could have been in another Ten Hag situation. And, imagine you sort of come out in the opening day against a promoted team and you get beaten by Sunderland or Burnley or Leeds, and immediately the pressure's on Ange again, and it would just become very toxic very quickly had we not got a fast start. So, I think it was right just to make the change. Very difficult, obviously, from the board and Daniel Levy this time around. I'm sure that was a really tough decision to make. But Thomas Frank, he ticks all the boxes for me. He's progressive, done a fantastic job with Brentford on a model very similar to Spurs, working within a real tight structure. He's brought on a lot of young players. He's obviously developed the likes of Mbeumo, David Raya, Ollie Watkins. There's been a lot of stars have sort of been made at Brentford, left Brentford, and he's continually kept them in the division and really punching above the weight. And they've had some terrific results against the top 6 as well. So, I think he ticks the boxes in terms of character, persona. I said to somebody, a contact of mine, he's not Jurgen Klopp, but he's got a touch of the Klopp in the way that he sort of is perceived, I feel. And I think, he's the right man to really kick on a group that's just won a trophy. There's a lot of talent in that squad. We've spoken about it before. The nucleus of the team is there. Ironically, Brentford tried to sign Archie Gray. They tried to sign Brennan Johnson. So he's going to get his first 2 transfer wishes there to work with those 2 players. And there's lots of players that will hopefully develop and adapt under Thomas Frank. So I think it's exciting times, and he's ready for this shot. I mean, he was linked with Liverpool. I believe he was on the shortlist should Arne Slot not got the gig at Anfield. He was linked to Manchester United, so he's been in the running for some big jobs. So clearly highly rated within the game, and I think it's a massive coup for Spurs. But we've now got to make sure we back him. And I think the first sign of that is we've allowed all his backroom staff to come with him. That's been the sort of hold up this week. A little bit of negativity around the football that he's played, but he adapts depending on the situation and the opposition. And I think that's something that we haven't done under Ange Postecoglou, and that's been very costly.